about why you're going to email people or gather their email addresses, why you might want to be in their inbox and communicating with them, either to nurture your customers or to stay top of mind, or there's a number of various reasons. One of the things that I see is most common is people will create a email newsletter, but an email newsletter isn't necessarily the right thing for your business. There might be other reasons why you want to email people, and a newsletter may not make any sense at all. So definitely keep that in mind and think about the other ways you might be able to promote your business through email. So I'll just share the results. Looks like 60% said no and 40% said yes. I'm glad no one said what's email. So hopefully we're all somewhat familiar and have email accounts, or else you probably wouldn't have made it into this course. So yeah, so 60-40. So that's okay. I mean, it is news to some people that email is still so relevant today in 2020. But if you're a part of any digital marketing course, or you're reading up on digital marketing or listening to a podcast, they will likely mention email. I think it was Neil Patel said that email outperforms pretty much all other forms of digital marketing. So highly recommended that you consider email, and that you figure out what's the best strategy and try some things for email for your campaign. So we're going to go through a walkthrough of Mailchimp. We'll talk about some of the best practices and important things to do. I like Mailchimp personally. I find it very intuitive. It's very easy to use, but there are lots of other platforms. Check out Klaviyo, Klayvio, Constant Contact. Sendinblue is one that's been coming on lately that seems pretty good. Have a look out there and see what's maybe the best fit for you. I like Mailchimp because it's mostly free, but they are changing some of the things about it, so you can't send an email. You have to send it right at the moment, or else you have to pay for that. So definitely something to keep in mind. But it's a good platform, and like I said, it's very intuitive. It's also very drag and drop. So when we get to platforms like Unbounce, you also see that where I can just drag in an image and I can change content and I can move things around. That for me works really, really well because I'm pretty much non-technical, non-design, so I'm still able to do those tasks. So before we get into that, just a reminder to put your questions in the Q&A. I'll try to answer them as we go, so feel free to just throw them in there. If you have some questions that aren't related to email, you want them answered to, just throw them in there, as well as one that's related to the course content. The chat is there as well. We'll share a chat as well. If you do want to ask a question with your voice, then throw your hand up, and we'll get to that. So for now, let's jump into this walkthrough. So I have already created an account here. So if you were to create an account, you need to go in and sign up. Just go to Mailchimp.com and you go in and create your own account for free. So you'll notice that every time I come in here, it's changing a little bit. This is something you'll find in digital marketing. You log into Facebook, it's different. You go into Google, and it looks a little different as well. Things move and change. It is a frustrating part of being a digital marketer. But if you understand the core concepts and what you're trying to accomplish, you'll be able to figure it out. And these tools are pretty intuitive, like I said. So we're just in the dashboard here. You'll notice things like this, like create a website. They have all these different things. I wouldn't personally necessarily use Mailchimp to create my website. So I'm not recommending that. I would recommend other platforms like Squarespace, WordPress for creating your website. Stay away from GoDaddy, Wix, even Google Sites are not ideal for your business. Where we're going to focus is right here in this one here, create an email. You'll see all these other things here as well. They're a little more advanced: custom journey, creating a template, design, landing pages, excuse me, survey, create an ad, social post, all this stuff. This is not necessarily super important for what we're going to talk about today. You may find that Mailchimp is a great tool for you, but typically what I like to use it for is email. I think Mailchimp is trying to expand to keep up with marketing automation tools like ActiveCampaign, HubSpot, Zoho. All these other tools are moving into more marketing automation. So Mailchimp's trying to expand their game as well. All right, so let's dig in on this. So what we're going to do is create an email campaign. And maybe before we do that, if people want to throw, let's create an email campaign for a specific site. So throw your website into the chat window there. If you'd like us to use that as an example, we'll try to walk through that and create an email specific for that. So just throw that into the Q&A. Whale watching. So I'm just taking a look at the site. Definitely seen this one before. Maybe looked at it in another one, in another session. All right. Last time we had a look at the Malahat valuation group. Let's go with this one. So looking at the site, first thing I really want to think about is why are we going to send an email to our customers, our leads? So let's maybe think about that. If people can post, take a quick look at malahatvaluationgroup.com and just throw your suggestions into the chat as well. Why are we going to email our potential clients or our existing clients? What are we going to email about? I don't know, maybe it's a discount or a new service you're offering, or news you want to share, or an upcoming blog post, or video that you have. And we'll go through and try to create an email specific for that. So Malahat valuation group. There's a video here. That's kind of cool. Might be able to promote that. Malahat valuation. I don't want to get stuck watching. That's a good one. COVID-related effects on your business value. Ernest. So I see that's coming from Ernest, and I see Ernest as the founder and principal. So I guess we'll go with his advice since he's probably the most educated on that. Thanks for the suggestion. Okay, so let's jump into this. Let's create an email for COVID-related effects on your business value from the Malahat Valuation Group. So I just clicked on this create button, and then I'm going to click on email. We'll give it a name. Let's just call it COVID effects value. All right, so this is just for our own internal purposes. This isn't going to be the subject line of the email as well. And you notice at the top, regular, automated, plain text. So automated would be something that you would have as part of an automation, like maybe someone filled out a form and wanted to download a case study, then this would automatically send that email. Plain text is actually something that I really, really like as well. So if this email came from Ernest and it said, Ernest at malahatvaluationgroup.com, and it said, hey Mike, maybe you auto-populated the form field into the introduction of the email. So it said like, hey Mike, just wanted to talk to you about COVID effects on your business valuation for your business, Alacrity Academy. You can pop those things in and make it look very, very personal. That it looked like it came as a personal message from Ernest to me in a plain text, really simple, no graphics email. That can work really, really well. It feels very personal. Even sometimes if the user knows that it came from an automated service, it still comes across really, really personalized. So think about personalization as you're creating your emails as well. We're going to just do this as a regular email, and we're going to play around with some of the interface design stuff that we could kind of mess around with. So it'll just walk you through that. So this is a really nice feature with Mailchimp, is that it's just going to step you through each step along the way as we create it. So all right, so COVID effects on business valuation. To who are we sending this campaign? If we had uploaded a list of people, then we'd be able to import those contacts. So really, really important that people subscribe to your list or agree that they want to receive your email. And a nice touch as well at the top of the email is to put where or why they signed up for this. So if it said, you've signed up for this email by visiting the Malahat Valuation Group, or you signed up for this, you subscribed to this list when you downloaded the case study. Something like that really lets them know that, hey, this isn't spam. This is something that I signed up for, because quite often people will sign up for lists and forget that they signed up. So if we're going to import contacts, there's a couple different ways that we could do that. You should be able to upload a file. So this would be a CSV or a text delimited TXT file. So you would just hit continue to upload, and then you would find that file and upload it. Pretty straightforward, I think. The other way to do that would be to copy and paste. So in this way, it would already have the email address, first name, last name, address. You'd probably actually copy that from a spreadsheet and then paste it here. And then you can import all of those subscribers to your list and then who you're going to email. And then you would be able to send that email out to those users. So just make sure that they've specifically opted in to receive that. Make sure you're very obvious about that so that they know, they did want to receive this, and then you can call that out in the email as well. So I'm not going to proceed with this because I don't actually have any contacts to import. Who is it sending from? So this is where, like, if we wanted this to come from Ernest, right? Hope Ernest is okay with me using his name. And then if we wanted that name to be like, Ernest, sorry, what's your name? it's a nice feature when an email comes from a real person. Now, this maybe not ideal for your newsletter. You might want to use newsletter at, but I do recommend that. I don't like no reply emails because quite often people do want to reply. I get it when Amazon does it because they would be bombarded with millions of replies back. But I think you should encourage people to write back to you, even if they want to just unsubscribe or they want to connect with you or they want to ask a question about your email, your newsletter that you're sending out. I would encourage you to use a real email address. It is nice if it comes from a person as well, depending on what your approach is. But I like to use a real email that you can reply back to. So let's just say it's coming from that. Yeah, it probably won't let me, but you have to verify the domain in order to send from that. So if you're going to verify the domain, click on that, and then we need to verify that you have access to an email address, and I'll have a valuationgroup.com, enter an address, will send you verification email. So they'll send that email, and then you would check to say that, yes, I've received this. You verify that domain. So I don't know if this will let me proceed with this, but we'll fix it after that. No, it's not going to let me. Okay, so let's say it's coming from my email. Okay, so it's already verified because of it's added on the account. So we'll just use that for now. Again, just on the from, I think it's nice if it comes from a person. Think about your strategy. If you're sending it from a newsletter, it might be nice to be a newsletter at. I wouldn't recommend using no reply or an email that's not checked. Like, this is an opportunity to engage with your customers. You're reaching out to them. Let them come reply back to you. Okay, so subject line. So subject lines are really, really important. So here's this what I like about Mailchimp is it walks you through this. So based on best practices, try to use no more than 9 words. 9 seems like a lot. Try to use no more than 1 emoji. So emojis actually help as well. Avoid using more than 60 total characters and avoid more than 3 punctuation marks. And these are likely based on spam flags. So it's really, really important that your subject line is strong and catches the user's attention, but you don't want to be spammy because your goal is to end up in the inbox. If you don't end up in the inbox, they're not likely to find your email and open it. If you don't have a compelling subject line, they're not likely to open it. If they're not likely to open it, they're not likely to take action that's inside the email. So whatever the goal of your email is, in this case, it would be to, maybe read a case study on, COVID effects or the top 10 tips to, keep your business valuation high during COVID when you could be suffering, your business value could be suffering from COVID effects. So we really want to think about our subject line. So why don't we just, if everyone can kind of throw some ideas in the chat there for potential subject lines, and then we'll try them there and see if they fit with Mailchimp's requirements. The other thing that I like to do as well is if you can dynamically insert the user's name. I don't know if this is how Mailchimp does it, but you could do something like that. You would find out what the tag is to use. So it would say like fname, learn about COVID effects on your business value. So you really want to play around with this stuff. If you put this personalization in it, it will definitely grab their attention. It's a good thing to do. Adding in some emojis works as well. Right? Maybe this one's relevant, but like Mailchimp saying, just do 1, not a bunch. So I'm just barely over their character limit. Oh no, I'm way over. Great job staying under 60 characters. But it's saying I'm 91. So you really, really want to take some time to think about your subject line and make sure that it's going to be strong and engaging for users. So if we were to play around with that, things that work well, putting numbers in there, random numbers, like 7 tips to, increasing your business value during COVID. Stuff like that works really well. Asking a question, is your business value dropping? Right, so those are the types of things you want to play around with. If you have a big list, you can segment that. And you can take 1% or 10% of your audience and try different subject lines and see which gets you the highest open rate. want to play around with that, but only if you have the luxury of having a large list, right? So spend a decent amount of time on your subject, just like creating any headline. You want to spend time creating a good, catchy subject line or headline that's going to get attention and compel people to open it, right? You might even want to, put in something here like "find out how" or something like that really creates an opening or a likelihood that they'll open the email. So let's go with this one. You can definitely check out some of the best practices, your subject line guide, and then or you can look at how recent subject lines of yours performed if we had sent other emails, which is a nice feature. The preview text, this appears in some inboxes, not necessarily all, but right after the subject line. So if you think about like a search engine result, this would be the page title, and then this would be the meta description. So here we might want to say like find out how to increase the value of your business. Obviously, you want to write something more like that, but something that will likely increase the click-through rate or the open rate. So this one's going to grab their attention, and this one's going to help push them through and be more likely to open your email. So really, really important that you get a good subject line or you won't get opens. If you don't get opens, you won't get them to take the action that you want. So let's just save that. We'll go on to the next step. All right, so this is the fun part. It's designing the actual content of your email. So we'll just click design email, and then you'll be able to see the drag and drop nature of Mailchimp and how it works, and what makes it fun to use, right? I'll try to do my best to add in what I can from the actual site, but I don't want to take too much time to get stuck on that. So I think if you click this, you'll get an opportunity. You can try a couple different templates. The nice thing about Mailchimp templates is that they're customized to look good on a desktop. They're customized to look good on a mobile phone. So you don't have to worry too much about that. They take care of it for you. And the other reason that I would suggest using Mailchimp is they have good deliverability. They're more likely to put you into the inbox than if you sent this just from your Gmail or personal or work email. I definitely suggest not doing that from your own email client. It's a really good idea to use a platform like a Mailchimp or Constant Contact to do something like this. So you can see a lot of these emails are pretty straightforward. There's not a lot of design in them. You can probably find other ones as well, but they're usually like one sort of field, right? They're not going to have multiple boxes, and that's because they'll easily fit with mobile phones. So we can just change the theme. So we're just changing the template. I think we did. Maybe I just picked the same one that I already had. Yeah, let's pick a different one. So I think if you start to edit the content and then you go back and change the template, then that's where you would lose some of your saved information. So like it says here, to edit content, hover over the main section and click. To add content, hover to find the plus button and click. So we can add other content in here, right? So this is a nice feature as well. Allow the user to actually click to see the email in their browser. They might prefer to see it there. It might display better there than it does in their email client. Let's see if we can actually edit this logo. Please. Let's see if we can actually upload this one here. Oh, it downloaded. No, it didn't download the image. For some reason it wants to download the web page. Okay. Well, either way, this is where you would upload your logo. So you just click here and then upload, whatever your logo is, and you can insert that into the email, and then it will show here. Or you can also delete that, right? So you can delete it, and then you can add in other sections. You can add in a divider, right? We can add in a video. It's going to make the email pretty awful pretty quickly, but you can add in all the different functions that you want to add in here, right? So right here, this might be an area where we want to actually add in a paragraph. So here we might say you signed up. You're receiving this email because. So that's kind of a nice feature. You might want to make it nice and small there, but put it somewhere near the top. Just so that they know the context of why they received this email. And then I was just kind of rapidly adding in different images and stuff here. So let me just delete some of those and go back. And so let's add, we might want to add a heading. So, we might want to repeat our subject line. Right, so we have a nice headline. And then I actually kind of like, if it's possible, to go back to the site and see if we can incorporate that video. The only problem with videos is that they sometimes don't display properly inside the email or the different email. I lost that video. Inside some of the different email clients. So I'm just getting the embed code. I'm going to see if this works. So what this will do is allow me to insert a video and embed it within the actual within the actual email. So it's looking for a source, so it probably just wants a link. So we don't, when we embed it, we would actually embed the code. So if we wanted to do that, we'd probably want to add, and we don't actually have the ability to do that. But we can share this video and copy the link, and let's see if it will insert it. So we just click on the video image and then enter the URL, and then hopefully it picks that up, and then that works. So let's assume that that video is in place, right? And then down here, and I wouldn't really think about what your email is about, why you're emailing them, what's the value you're providing your customers, and think about your list and segment accordingly. And then when you send this email, make sure there's like a call to action. And there might be a couple different products they can take advantage of. It might be a discount that they can get. In this case, what I'm thinking is that they might, see this email that says, is your business value dropping because of COVID? They would come here, maybe they would see the video, and then down below, it could be, get the case study or set up a time for a call. If you want a call to action. So you think about the structure of the email, you need a good, strong list of people that are engaged that you're going to email to. It's nice if it comes from a person. Send them the email, make sure that subject line is really, really compelling and interesting. Think about headlines, spend time on that subject line and create something that is really going to increase the open rate. Once you've got a good open rate, people are going to open up the email. We want to make sure we capture their attention and then call to action, right? And think about the funnel. We talk a lot about the funnel. The awareness, so they know your company exists. They're on your email list, right? They have the interest. They've seen the subject line. Then they open it up. They're in the middle of the funnel, right? They're creating the desire to take some sort of action. And then at the bottom of the funnel is that call to action, the thing that we want them to do with the email. So that the funnel applies in a lot of different ways. You might even look at how the funnel applies to just this email, right? Here's your headline, your awareness piece. Interest is the video. Desire is something that says, here, like why you need this. And then the call to action is that action that we want them to take, right? So, you'll see that throughout as we're, continue to go on to the course, how much the funnel applies to everything that you do. So, I know I'm kind of making a mess of this email, but I want to show you the different features that are available inside of Mailchimp and how easy it is to just drag and drop and add content. So we've added a headline, we've added a video. I think it's important to change this button text. So let's say, call us today. And then we can change the link as well. So let's link that to, maybe a contact us page. Oh, this looks like it's like a one-pager site that's anchored. So I can't actually link them to that page. Right? It'd be nice to send them to a page. The contact button is anchored to here, so I can't actually send them to a specific page. But either way, we'll link this to the Malhat group, Malhat valuation group. And then you can play around with this as well. Do we want this to line left, center? Do we want it rounded? Do we want it pill shaped? Right? There's a lot of customizations, but there are some limitations as well that you won't be able to do just everything that you want. But play around with all these different options. Do you want it styled? I would definitely recommend that it's a nice bright button with a contrasted color from the rest of the page. So the button, maybe there's a nice bright color that really stands out on the page. Right? You can kind of play around with that. I know that's ugly, but I'm not a designer, and I want people to click on it. So you can change the text color, white, gray, Again, these are not great colors, but I just want to show you that you can edit those things and change them. You can also edit the social media, right? So you can put in your proper social media links if you think that's something that's relevant to have inside your email, right? So Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, your website, email, contact information, YouTube, whatever ones that you find are customized. But you can also change the color there as well. There, something like that. And then this part down here, this is going to automatically put in some information about your company. So they've got copyright and the year and then the company name, all rights reserved. So that's nice to have in there. It's nice to have on your website as well. There's other information that is pre-populated, but they will insert your physical address. It's really important for CAN-SPAM laws that your physical address is located inside the email. That is just a requirement to meet CAN-SPAM regulations. And then they've got this if rewards. This is if you have a free account, I think you have to have Mailchimp branding in there. If you pay for it, then you can remove that. There's some questions here. Sarah's asking, do the privacy laws allow you to send out an email to existing customers asking them to sign up for your newsletter for content and offers? That's a really interesting question. I don't know specifically, but have a look at, like, depending on where your customers are. If they're in Canada, you need to follow CASL, so C-A-S-L, to meet compliance. So check that out. You may want to touch base with a lawyer. I don't want to give legal advice, obviously, but you can check that out. You can also check out CAN-SPAM in the US if you're emailing the US, and it may apply. I'm missing the, I can't remember what it's called, but the European data protection law, GDPR, might apply if you're emailing throughout Europe, but also it's become kind of a standard to follow. So to your question, you might be able to email them one time asking if they want to sign up or asking if they want to opt in. The rules around opt-in are a little bit muddy, so what qualifies as an opt-in may or may not be totally clear. And I know there are some specific rules around if your business is relevant or if it's like a B2B versus emailing a general customer. Like if you just randomly put in a bunch of emails and send it out to customers looking for them to buy your widgets, that wouldn't be allowed, but you might be able to email another business for the first time. So I would really check those, check out CASL, check out CAN-SPAM, check out GDPR. You may want to take some time to talk to a lawyer to make sure that you're on the up and up. I just don't want to give legal advice. So I hope that is at least somewhat helpful, Sarah. Corey asked, can you change the background color as well? Yeah, that's a good question. So I chose this specific template. I would think you'd be able to. Oh, here, down here. Okay, so background color. So yeah, you can play around with that. You can change it to white, gray, whatever you think is most appropriate. So you can. I mean, I like plug and play because I don't design and I'm not a developer. So you have some limitations, and some of those limitations are there to protect your email to make sure that it's going to match up nicely on a phone. It's going to look good as well. So yeah, so you can change the background color. Sarah is asking, does Mailchimp offer good helplines and support? That's a good question. I haven't really interacted with their support. I would assume that it's pretty good. The tool is quite intuitive, so you very rarely run into problems. The biggest problem you might run into is when you send a test email, you may see that it goes into your spam folder. If it's going into your spam folder, then it's going to be really important that you do fix that. And there's a couple of solutions in order to do that. It may have to do with how your domain is set up. I've run into that problem a couple of times. I think I found the answer to that without actually dealing with Mailchimp support. And that's a nice thing about working with a popular tool as well, like WordPress or Constant Contact or Mailchimp or Unbounce. There's lots of other people outside of support answering those questions, and someone's probably run into the same problem with that. So I can't speak specifically to their support, but I would assume that it's pretty good. It's a widely used tool. Okay, so this email is not looking super pretty, but I want to continue on in the process. You can basically this tool is very modular, so you can drag and drop different things around. You can move them up and down throughout. You can change a lot of different items within them. You can add bullets, all this sort of stuff, all these different things. I don't know that you can change. Oh, yeah, you can change the font colors and sizes and things on the left-hand side. So each module here is editable, and you can change it, right? We could change the background to be a different color. Right, actually, I deleted the wrong one. Shoot, and there's no, is there an undo? Shoot, there is. Okay, so this is undo, redo, background color. I just want to delete this one here, though. I don't know why it's not letting me. But as you can see, you can drag and drop all these elements and add in different specific pieces as you go. And then over on the left-hand side, you'll see various things you can change: background, links, text, that sort of stuff, even text size. And then, like with the button, there's each different component can change a little bit different than the other. So if we were to add something new here, paragraph, spacer, social is going to add in all the social. We might want to add in an image or a button of some sort. Those sorts of things. All there. It's very easy to play around with and try different elements and add them in. Adele, is there an option so I can code? That's a good question. I'm not seeing it, but I'm pretty sure you can. I know that they used to have that. First tags. That's a good question. Let's see if we have time to research that after. I know you used to be able to do that. It's a good question. Let's look into that after the fact, because you should be able to like insert your own HTML or change some of the elements as well. But this is our quick template or quick design of the email. So if we continue on, it should show us like all the elements, kind of a checklist before we're going to send it. So who we're sending it to. Of course, we don't have any recipients there. Sending it from Ernest, but we're actually using my email because mine's verified. We've done some research around the subject line. We've at least met Mailchimp's best practices. I would definitely try to work on this subject line to find the best possible one that's going to increase the likelihood that it will be open. Content. So it's looking like we automatically added a required referral badge. Remove the badge to upgrade it, so that's fine. Send your email, remove some of the placeholder text. So it's not going to let us actually send this, so let's just remove some of the placeholder text that was in there. So I think we need to remove this. So this is just the text that was automatically placed there by the template. All right, so now we should be good. So you can also preview it, which I do recommend that you do, so you can see what it's going to look like on the desktop. You can also see what it's going to look like on a mobile phone. Right, so this doesn't look great on a mobile phone, so we may want to reconsider our headline or make it a little bit shorter. And unfortunately, this is not displaying correctly. Well, I'm not sure why that is. We'll have to check that out when we actually send the email. We want to do a preview send as well, so not just a preview mode, but actually send a test email. So let's see if we've met all the requirements for Mailchimp now. Okay, so the content looks like it's good. Right, so then here we can send a test email. So we could send it to a number of different people to get approval or see what we, you just add a comment, you can add in a bunch of other names as well. And you can even include some instructions like, hey, this is, sample email, I'm just testing this out, let me know what you think. So if we send that, and hopefully that will show up in your inbox. Okay. I don't want to send another text. Okay, so I'm just going to see if I can find that email in my inbox and see where it ended up. The other elements, so you can actually share your campaign. You can actually create a branded link if you wanted to. Sometimes I've tweeted out an email, like here's our latest newsletter, or here's our most recent email. You can also post it specifically to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram if you connect to your account. So you can connect your Facebook account, connect to Twitter, add Instagram, and then that should also change the footers that were here in the design. It should update those with the proper links. Right, so right now these don't actually match up, but I think if we update those and set those in our settings of our full account, then it will populate those with the correct URL. So I definitely recommend that you get the right pages, or if you don't have one of these, then remove it. Only keep the relevant ones in there, obviously, but definitely have a look before you send that. Okay, so I'm just looking at see where that email ended up. Okay, so in my inbox, hopefully you guys can see this. Right. I assume you're seeing my inbox, so you can see this is what's coming in. So it's saying that it's a test, but it's subject line is your business value dropping because of COVID, which is it's good to ask a question. And then remember we had that preview text, find out how to increase the value of blah, blah, blah. So in Gmail, it's going to show you some of those things. In other email clients, it might look a little bit different. So if we would open that up, we can see what the email actually looks like in our inbox. I can check this on my phone. The reason that I'm getting this error this morning from Google has to do with the fact that it came from myself. So it shouldn't really be a problem, but because it came from myself to myself, it looks like I'm spoofing the name. Plus, it also says Ernest rather than my own name. So it kind of looks spoofed. So it's just giving you a warning. You shouldn't see that in other inboxes, but you would want to test that and maybe send it to some of your other employees and team members to make sure that it's working correctly. So I'll just mark it as looks safe. So this is basically what the email looks like in my inbox. This is the branding that that Mailchimp has inserted. Courier's probably one of their tools that they're trying to promote. So if you don't want that branding, I would recommend that you do pay for Mailchimp and remove that, because I think that does look a little bit off, especially if you're promoting the business. But you can still use it for free. If we click on this to view it in the browser, it's just going to open up. It's going to look very similar, but is a nice feature sometimes when maybe people can't see the email clearly in their email client. So I mean, this is a really good email. I just wanted to take you through the steps. So make sure you understand that this is. I'm not saying this is a good email that we created here. You would take a lot more time to create a good quality email. So I think we've gone through pretty much everything here. I would have to add recipients. Maybe I can just jump in. Okay. So I kind of skipped over that, but I was basically just signing myself up. So if you go through and you actually copy and paste or import it, it's going to ask you some questions to make sure you have consent to actually send that. So we need to now add. Oh, maybe I missed something. Okay, let's actually follow that through. Okay, so if we paste it in our fields here, we paste it in our actual contacts. Continue to organize. We're going to set them to subscribed. Update any contacts. So continue to tag. Easily organize your contacts and use some words of phrase. Right, let's just call them a customer. And then it should finalize the import, and hopefully we'll have a recipient. One contact updated companies. So hopefully, I don't know why it's not adding that recipient. That's unfortunate. That's frustrating. Okay, so I don't want to have to go and create a spreadsheet and upload that. But what would happen is you would then schedule it, which I think you have to pay to send, or to pay to be able to schedule it, or you would just send it immediately and you would send that out. But I would highly recommend that you do a test email and you preview this, see how it looks on your phone, see how it looks on a couple different email clients, test it out, make sure that it works really well before you do send it out. There's a couple other questions coming in. Questions, Stephanie. This is similar to someone else's first question. Is the best way to get an email list of clients who have opted in for your business that has established clients but no email list by adding a pop-up to sign up for newsletters emails on my website? If you have to sign up for newsletters, does this mean you can send any email marketing campaign? Really good question. So I would definitely suggest having an email pop-up, like not a pop, but a lightbox pop-up on your site. Make sure you have a good reason for why they're going to sign up. So you can actually do that in Mailchimp as well. You could create a form, and you can actually have that show like this sign-up form. So you can create that here in Mailchimp, and you can actually create. Well, this one I just did. I created an embedded form. What I should have done was a pop-up form. So maybe just go back. So I mean, it depends on what your goal is and what you're offering. Certainly, if you have a newsletter that you're sending out regularly, then a nice pop-up form on your site or landing page is a good way to do that. If you are getting people to sign up and maybe submit a quote or submit for more information, if they're giving their email and you want to email that person, I would have a checkbox there that says, like you see sometimes when you sign up for other services, it will say, do you grant us permission to send you emails about promotions, newsletters, those sorts of things? And I would be specific. So if you sign them up for a newsletter, you're probably okay to send them like a one-off deal outside of the newsletter, but you would want to say that, leave it open, like I agree to receive emails from such a business. Some of this stuff is regulated and there are laws around it, but some of that is just good practice and good behavior. So I would say, really think about your email strategy. Why are you going to email? Who are you going to email? And then start to think about what's the best way to do that. Maybe it's an embedded form on my site. Maybe it's a pop-up form. Play around with Mailchimp and see what works best. And then just be as obvious as you can to let them know that you will be emailing them or what you will be sending them. And then in the email, it's a good reminder to say, you're receiving this because you signed up for a pop-up form on mal@valuationgroup.com or whatever your website is. You want to make sure that list is healthy. And if people unsubscribe, let them unsubscribe. Don't try to bring them back in. So if people unsubscribe, those are people you don't want in your list. You don't want to annoy them. You don't want to email them. They're not likely to become customers. So make it easy for people to unsubscribe. And if you keep that email really, really relevant, they'll continue to come back and open it. So I think the best practice is to have an email strategy and then think about what's the best way for your business and for your email that you're sending to get people to sign up for that. If you're going to add it as like a co-registration, like you're going to collect their email address for other purposes, if you want to email them, then be obvious about that and put a checkbox there or let them know that you will email them. And managing unsubscribes is really, really important. You don't want to email people to the point where they get frustrated. If they want out, let them out, make it really obvious. I don't like those unsubscribes where it asks you to resubscribe because people will accidentally resubscribe when they thought they unsubscribed. So make sure you want to remove people that aren't interested in your list. Even if you've been emailing people for a long time and they've never opened or engaged with your emails, you probably want to remove those people as well to manage a really healthy list. Sarah asked, can we please look at the tracing ad reporting features? So I don't know what that is, Sarah. If you're able to let me know. Does Mailchimp automatically remove unsubscribe? Yes, it has an unsubscribe service. So you can go to contacts, and at the bottom of every email, it will show you, it'll have an unsubscribe button. They'll click through that, and then they'll click and unsubscribe, and it will manage it, and it will show up in here likely as, oops, sorry, my watch is with me. So you can come in here and you can see who subscribed or unsubscribed, and then you should be able to, unsubscribe addresses. You can just enter an email in here, right? So if someone writes back to you and says unsubscribe, it's your responsibility to go in and make sure they get unsubscribed. Most people will click on the button to unsubscribe, but don't hide that unsubscribe button. Make it obvious. If people want out, then they want out. Let them out, and make sure that you're creating lots of value in your email so that they don't unsubscribe. So now we should see two. Oh, I can't unsubscribe someone who's not subscribed. So I could enter. I guess I can enter this one. So yeah, so they will manage it for you. They'll remove it, but there are some cases where you want to manage it yourself. So now what we should see in here is just that there's me and that I'm actually unsubscribed. Right? So Sarah, I don't understand your other question about, can we please look at the tracing and reporting features? Oh, I'm assuming we need tracking. There won't be much in there because we haven't really sent anything. But you can look at your previous campaigns and see how they've done. You really want to, like I said, keep an eye on open rates, keep an eye on click-through rates, and that sort of stuff as well. So there's nothing to report here, but that's where you would do that. The KPIs, again, that you're looking at are, you want to look at unsubscribes because certain emails will drive up your unsubscribe rate. You want to look at open rates, and you want to look at click-through rates. Those will tell you the health of your list and your email newsletter and whether it's relevant. Right? Again, that's why that subject line is just so important to get them to open up. And then you've got to get that call to action to get them to take action or actions that you want them to. So unfortunately, there's nothing to see here because we didn't actually send anything out, but that's where you can see the reports. I know Adele also asked about coding. You used to be able to edit those blocks and you would just be able to insert code, but I'm not seeing that. So that's something you probably want to look into. But it looks like you can also create your own template as well, right? So you can add in your own code or import HTML. It looks like, oh, I've got to upgrade to these features. So it looks like that's the way that you would go. Either you have a fully templated template or email that you can't edit some of the elements with code, or you code up your own. If you're coding up your own, you're going to want designers involved, and you're really going to want to make sure that you're testing that template that you've created to see how it looks on a phone, how it looks in different clients as well. When I say email clients, I just mean like Microsoft Outlook or how it's looking Gmail. I only use Gmail, but there's lots of other tools out there for reading your emails. Okay, so hopefully I've had a look at that. I'll throw in your other extra questions. We go a little bit over as well. Yeah, that's kind of it. I know there was a fairly quick run through. Hopefully I answered some of your questions. I definitely focus on like those KPIs. Like think about your strategy, why you're emailing someone, who's in your list, and then open rates, unsubscribes, click-through rates, and see what you can do to improve those things. This tool is pretty good. Mailchimp will likely get you in the inbox. It will help you create nice emails that look beautiful, that look branded, that people are likely to click on as well. So it's a good place to start. You may find that you graduate to other tools or other ways of doing things as you get going, but really think about why you're emailing your customers. And for most people, you're going to want to be emailing them for some reason. Just really think about that reason and think about the value that you're giving the customer, right? If you have even two customers that are merged into one list and you're emailing them, the value is not going to be the same. You want to split that out and then create specific value for each of those. So think about your email list segmentation and how you can deliver value to each of those different users and their custom needs and wants, right? So if there are any questions, feel free to get those in right now. Hopefully this was helpful. I would encourage you to go and sign up for a Mailchimp account. It's free. Mess around with it, play with it, figure things out, and send out some test emails. you maybe want to send out something for your own company as well. Just make sure that you have specific opt-in approval from your customers to send email. All right, well, thanks again. We'll see you back here tomorrow. We're here at 5 o'clock. We've got a content marketing panel, a couple of writers, like writing-based content, and then we also have Sarah, who created some video content that you'll get to later here to talk about video content as well. And then on Friday, we have a Q&A session talking more about content. And content's really, really important, especially if you're trying to do anything with SEO. So we'll see you back tomorrow and Friday, and hopefully help answer any questions as you go. But like I said, get in there and mess around with Mailchimp. Don't worry, you can't break it, and have fun with it. All right, thanks a lot.
Today, my name is Eric Hoppe. I'm the Director of Marketing with Crowd Content Media. We are a full-service content writing services company, meaning that we have a large network of writers and we connect them to businesses that need content for their various marketing programs through a few different ways. But the long and short of it is that we're very involved in creating content for some of the world's biggest brands, and it gives us a pretty unique insight in terms of how they do content marketing. So I'm really happy to be talking to you guys about content marketing. So we'll just jump into it.
Platform, and then you're not so much targeting on keywords, but targeting based contextually on where your site fits within different categories. So just a further explanation of that, we focus a lot on the search network and search traffic, but again, it allows you to reach customers using those text ads based on relevant keywords to your business. Ads appear at the top of the search results, and it's probably the most familiar and common way that we see and think about Google Ads, but we need to remember that it is much bigger than just that. And again, high user intent. Typically, we're targeting flop. All right, so I want to dive into the search terms report, which is actually one of the best features within Google. It's something that I use a lot of when I'm optimizing for my campaigns. So what it actually does is show you the terms that people actually search. So when you put in keywords and target key phrases, those are a certain type, and we have different match types, but then you actually see the keyword phrase and the string of characters and words that the user actually put in. So if you put in red shoes, you'll see that that was matched with red basketball shoes or red dress shoes or something like that. You'll actually see what the user puts in, because it'll have sometimes quite a lengthy key phrase and be like 5, 6 to like 10 or 15 actual phrases in there with keywords. So when they're actually searching for terms, so if they search for like, where to find red shoes, I live in Austin, Texas, then you'll see that whole string of characters, not just that it matched for red shoes. So you can actually get an idea of what people are searching for and potentially find keywords that you don't want. So the search terms report allows you to see data on which search terms were actually triggering your clicks. So we'll be able to go in there and have a look at these actual terms that people search. It's really quite interesting and insightful. It helps you further optimize your campaigns, figure out which negative keywords to add, which keywords to remove, where your campaign is going, what keywords are working or not working. So you can add or remove those keywords based on the results that you're seeing. If you're seeing good results from certain keywords, you're seeing lots of conversions, maybe it's a keyword that you didn't think of that you would then want to add to your campaign, which actually enhances your keywords and your keyword research that you didn't actually do initially. So it's a really great report. I highly suggest you check it out. You You can download it by clicking the three dot icon there, and then you just download that. You can bring that into Excel and manipulate the data as you need. The search terms report is going to show you from the last 8 hours with clicks in the past 30 days. So it's not going to be all of the data that you want in there. It's not going to show you immediately when you start your campaign. You're not going to see all of the search terms showing up. So I highly suggest you go back there regularly. Early on, if you're spending a decent amount, you want to go in there maybe daily and just see which search terms your keywords are matching with. But it's going to identify some high potential keywords to expand. The keyword column in this report actually tells you which keywords were actually matched for a given search term. So it allows you to see why your keywords were matched with this keyword and try to identify the opportunity, whether it's good or bad. Success is going to depend on how well you analyze your campaigns and optimize. So you'll get in a good habit of going in, looking at the search terms report, seeing what's working, what's not working, and adjusting from there. But it's going to take some analysis skills and some knowing what to do with those keywords when you see them in there. So you may see some weird stuff in there, or you want to add those as negatives. You see some good stuff, you maybe want to add that to a campaign or create a whole new ad group around that new keyword that you've just discovered. But the strength of Google Ads really rests in that accumulation of data over time. And so when we're setting up our campaign, we're really buying traffic to learn, and we're gaining data. We're starting to see those results come in, good or bad. And so the more data we have over a longer period of time, the more sure we can feel about the moves we make to optimize. And the search terms report is a big part of making that work. So to access the search terms report, once you've signed into your Google Ads account, you can click on the All Campaigns tab on the navigation pane on the left, and then you're going to click Keywords, and then you're going to click Search Term at the top of the page, and then there you'll have access to the search terms report. So I really encourage you to take advantage of this, dive into it early, often throughout the campaign to find out which keywords you're matching with and which new keywords you're matching with to learn either to add them as negatives or add them to your campaign or build an ad group or potentially even a campaign around that search term or that search phrase that you've just discovered. All right, so let's just go over some of the terms we discussed throughout this unit and make sure you're fully understanding all the different match types and things we're discussing as we learn more.